I'm pleased with where we are. I think a lot of it has to do with um, we had an early start with the Canadian tour, so that helped. So we only have you have guys like a few new faces that were not here this summer, or well, actually one or two that didn't go with us to Canada. So we're ahead as far as implementing the things we want to try to do, but it's still progress. We're still a work in progress. Any questions? Maybe I didn't say much, but maybe I should talk longer. Okay, let me say more then. These things are progressing. I think we've had a couple minor injuries and bumps. With Justin Gray having some surgery, but he'll be back running in drills and not having any contact. He should be able to start back next week in full contact mode, being able to play. We've had Jordan Jackson was out for a week with a concussion, but he's fine. His first day back was, Dave, what was Sunday. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Matt. You guys know Matt. Matt's got to correct me on that's his job to keep me straight here. Appreciate it, Matt. What else? Who else has been? Well, for the most part, everybody else has been doing a good job. I'm really pleased with our. I think I'm pleased with most of the players. So I'm pleased with where things are.
Coach, where would you say Lawrence is with this health? Would you say he's working back to 100%?
Yes, yeah, he's got a little. He has. He had this PRP treatment, and where they recycle your blood platelets and put them back in. So he went through a phase where he didn't think it really helped, but then it took a while for it to kick in, and he's feeling a lot better. I think he had it done twice, so he's feeling a lot better now. And one of the things that helped him the most was the weight loss. He came in weighing 290, and now he's trimmed down about 30 pounds. 40 pounds. So that takes a lot of stress off of his knees, but he still has the tendonitis. The same way with Keenan. Keenan had the same treatment, and he's doing a lot better. But Norris is really playing well. He's probably been our most consistent player in practice as far as his effort and energy and intensity. He's probably our best on the team.
CJ, you said earlier that you thought he would, push some of the older guys. Do you still feel like he's doing that?
Absolutely. He's a guy that's battling for playing time. I think guys like Todrick and D. Will probably have had a major head start on him, but he's got the athleticism and the skills. I don't have a problem playing him or starting him right away. If he earns that right and he earns that opportunity, and then he'll play. But he's really doing well. He's improved his outside shooting. He struggled with his ball. I think he may have had quite a few turnovers up in Canada, but now he's comfortable with and learning our plays and learning our system. So he's probably our best open court player. When you get the ball out in space where he can make a move with it, he's probably the best on the team. And plus, he's pretty creative. Once he makes a play, he can find people open. He's a very good passer. So I'm really happy with where he is at this point.
What did the tour do for you guys?
Pardon me?
The tour, how did it help you?
The Canadian tour, chemistry, bonding, camaraderie, learning things about guys in that type of setting, where you're on a bus for a while, or where you can socialize together and not have to be, in an intense environment. It was a relaxed, I'm not in their face because it's about playing hard. Although they played hard and they did the things we needed to do, but I think that it helped me learn some things about individual players, because we have quite a few new faces on our team, even though we have some, and the experience of getting those sophomores more games and more practice time. I think that helped Zach, Norris, Isaiah especially, who wasn't here last summer, but wasn't here the summer before. It helped us, with the guy like Donovan and Andrew, C.J. Williamson, Jordan Jackson, who was our leading scorer. So those guys got some real game time, game experience, and that's what it did for us.
Coach, what do you think over these first two exhibition games just before you open versus High Point?
Mm-hmm.
What are you working on the most just with the team, getting set pieces, and maybe even getting adjusted to the shot call forward?
Well, again, I mentioned how the start from, a lot of people scrimmage teams where you can try a lot of different things, but I always felt like a game-like environment like this will do as much for us as anything. In Concordia, where Bontrager, who used to play here, that's one of the reasons we're trying to give back to the state schools that are from here, whether it's West Texas or Concordia. We know that they'll come in and give us a good test. Those guys they're going to share information. We'll share information with them about each other's teams, and that's what exhibitions are about. It's about learning, getting good minutes against other people, because you're going up against each other every day in practice. So now you can see how a guy responds, in the arena and here at the supermarket arena, and how he responds in the bright lights. That's what we expect to get out of it. And then we can try different things. We can. Again, we've been fortunate. We've had the tour to prepare to implement things, but now how much have we improved since then?
You think looking back on the tour, you pretty much all positives turned out from that, both
Yeah.
health-wise and
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was a great cultural experience. You learn a lot about another country and how they, not much different from here, because you're in Canada. It's not like we went to France or Italy or somewhere else, but we a lot of things that you see in Quebec City. You learn something about one of the oldest cities in this hemisphere, in North America. You learn a lot about Ottawa. I didn't realize that James Naismith is from, he's a Canadian from right outside of Ottawa. I learned, it's a valuable lessons you learn there. And it helps in recruiting, because there's a lot of talented Canadian players, now coming out. And it's in the last couple of drafts. There's been 2 Canadians that were drafted #1 in the NBA. So there's a method and a purpose to our touring as well.
Coach, how close is the competition at point guard, and can you speak to how Devin's mixed in?
Oh, he's done great. Devin is, again, he's I always feel like junior college players have a tougher transition, because most of them have, in Devin's situation, it's probably multiplied, tripled, because, he went from high school to prep school to Missouri State to junior college to here. That's 5 systems. It's a big challenge. So learning, but he's a very heady player, and has absorbed and learned the things because he's just a naturally talented and gifted passer and playmaker. He has to, again, at his size, he has to overcome some things there. But I tell you what he's done. He's made Keenan better, and that's a healthy competition. He'll play, and who's going to start is still up in the air, although Keenan probably has the edge at this point because he's been in the system for 2 years. So, and that helps.
I know last season you obviously struggled with ball handling and rotating between, obviously Rob and Keenan got a good amount of playing time as the point guard near the end. Do you feel like, compared to this point last year, you have a little bit more confidence in both guys controlling the ball at point guard than you did maybe last year?
Yeah, yes. And that's not to take anything away from Rob. Rob was a converted guard who really didn't play point for his team a lot, even at New Mexico Junior College. But he did what we asked him to do. Obviously, we want to put better players around him. Wish we could have done that with Rob, but we had 5 freshmen last year and then 2 new junior college players. So it was tough for him, and that's. But I appreciate what he contributed to the success. But you're asking me, I guess, to compare where the two in the program now compared to Rob last year. I think we're way ahead in that regard, and I think just because of another year of experience in Keenan, not just experience, but stronger. I mean, he was a guy couldn't lift 50 pounds when he first got here, much less press him. but now his body is transformed. I mean, I'm not going to say he's a stud yet, but he's getting there. So he's really grown up and matured physically and mentally. He's a very intelligent kid that wants to play and is doing the things necessary to earn the playing time. He showed that up in Canada. Really played extremely well, and he comes to work. He's more consistent, and that comes with being stronger, better stamina, endurance. Because he had the issue that he had to deal with before last year with exercise-induced asthma. So those are the things he has to overcome, and you have to learn to deal with. And in college, for instance, I was talking with Rokas. We were just meeting today. I said, "What's the?" He said, just with the difference in here and being at Mount Zion or being in Lithuania. He said, "Coach, it's hard." I said, "What's hard?" "Practice, man. The game is tough." He's going up against Norris, Isaiah, Zach, Matt Temple. He's banging against some guys when he was the biggest guy on our team. So it's a big difference for any kid, for any player, for any athlete. So that adjustment has been for Keenan. I've seen just a major jump in all the freshmen that are now sophomores.
I know you touched on Justin a little bit, but is he a guy who, just a week-to-week basis as far as easing him back in, or maybe hold him out until Big 12
Yeah.
and see how those knees hold up?
That's a good point. We got to test it to see if he's there, but we don't want to make sure he's completely healthy. And he played in Canada. It wasn't like he didn't play. It wasn't like he hadn't already recovered or did his rehab from the surgery before. And this surgery wasn't it was just what do you call it? I don't know. Scope. They just scoped to kind of clean it up. So that's what it was. You just scoped to try to, thank you, to help clean it up a little bit. So it wasn't a major. So you asked me a question. I don't know where we'll use him or how we'll use him. I have to play it by ear and listen to what the trainer says and what our doctor says.
Coach, talking to guys like CJ and Devin coming into this program, they said that their best attributes were being able to push in the tempo and get out kind of a transition. Is that, obviously you brought those guys in, but is that something you want to do more of offensively?
Oh, absolutely. We feel like we're a team. All of my teams in the past have been, although we're not going to sacrifice defense, but we feel like we have the ability to create more possessions, more opportunities with our defense. And that's, if we can force more turnovers and be more efficient in transition and get easy baskets, then that's why we recruited CJ and Jordan, because they bring that type of athleticism and that open court play that I think will make us a better team and help us play more of an up-tempo style. And I think our front court people are pretty mobile as well. We had last year. We had Kadir. Was Kadir top shooter? We had Norris but we had some guys that I think we're a little more mobile now with Zach and with Isaiah's getting in shape. He's not. He's learning to run the court better. I think once Rokas learns, once we can get eligible, figure out his eligibility status, and that's something we're still working on with the NCAA to get him ready to play and when he can play. guys like Matt Temple are guys that I think, so that all contributes to, I'm saying it because you have to have a team that's geared to playing that way rather than one or two guys that are freshmen. And I think we have that now, and D. Will and Keenan being able to push it up, and Devin Thomas, he's a guy that can push the pace with his ball handling and his ability to penetrate. So all that I think makes Jordan, CJ, and any of the other players much more effective.
Coach, how big of a find was Matt Temple, and what type of role in the rotation could he have once he's eligible?
Well, if we can get him eligible and he can do it, he'd have a major impact. I think he's a guy that gives us some more front court depth that we've struggled with last year. And one of the reasons we weren't a very good rebounding team, because we had, Zach is a very good rebounder, led us in rebounding with like 4.95 rebounds a game. And then you had Isaiah and Norris, and so we had a very young front court that I think now adding a guy like Matt, because he's really dedicated himself in the weight room, getting stronger and just his understanding of how to play. He's a very skilled post player with good touch, which is really a remarkable to get a guy to walk on that have that type of skill set. Now, how much he'll play, that'll be up to him and how hard if he continues to do what he's doing, he'll help us a lot.
You guys, I had heard that y'all kind of found him down in the rec center. Is that kind of how he was?
No, he kind of found us, I guess. It was, who was it? Clark Lambert, I guess, kind of sent him our way. So you need to go talk to Coach Smith. And I think he finally built up nerves to come talk to us and try out for the team. We've had a number of people try out, but he's the one that we kept. He was a keeper. Anything else?
Biggest difference between this team and the team you had last year?
Ooh, well, that's one of those wait and see. I talked about, we lost some quality, mature players last year, but we played a lot of young players last year, and I think that's going to contribute to. I just think the experience factor is probably the biggest difference. By that I mean, this group is a very. I like their serious-mindedness, their focus, and we've got and to be as young as we still are, that's something you don't find often. So I'm really happy with that fact. Now, if that's a difference between last year's team and this year's team, I don't necessarily think. I just think we're more talented, basketball players.